Hey guys, trying something new. I'm going to record today an episode live and wanted to kind of see you guys' opinion on this approach and see how things really pan out. So stick in with me. I'm going to get everything set up and get it going. So anything, shoot any comments, anything down there, and let me know how you like it. Let's jump into it. Let's start the show. All right, guys, we're going to get ready to get this thing started in a couple seconds. I'm just seeing how this works out for some people, so don't mind me if I'm kind of going through it quickly. So I'm just going to do my normal recording. So far, what I've done is kind of get my script up on the iPad, kind of figure out what I'm going to talk about, make sure the mic and everything is set up, got me something to drink so that I can make sure nothing else goes on, everything's up, set up. So we're going to cut this light on. Hopefully I can get some better lighting. And go from there. So I got my big monitor here. I have another monitor there. I got the iPad over here, which I'm going to face towards you guys. Just make sure that goes right. And then I'm going to, on the back end, make sure I'm recording as well on the Rodecaster Pro so that I can make sure the audio is going to be recorded, even if everything else is not going too well. So, all right, so I'm going to get ready to jump into all of this and go from there. So switching over now, let me see if my other camera is back online. Nope. All right, guys, we're going to get to it then.
So I farm so hard, the employees wanna find me, and then wanna hire me. What's 100K to a guy like me? Could you please remind me? Farm so hard, this ain't easy. Working late nights, you best believe me. My grades can only go A's. Never wanna see another B unless I'm Jay-Z. Farm so hard, let's get paid.
What's good, folks? It's your host, Jimmy Pruitt, aka Pharm ED, and I'm bringing you another episode of the Pharm So Hard podcast. This is going to be something that's new. For some of you guys on social media, you're probably watching this, and I'm recording this live today. I wanted to see how you guys really like this. And today, I'm going to be talking about the EMPoweRx Conference from the genesis of it. Like, how did this get started? What are some different things that we've done to kind of change some things up? And how can what can you expect moving forward? So there's going to be a two-part series where I have me talking about a lot of the background, and then I'm going to go into a lot more of the stuff from the committee side of things. So just be looking out for that episode later on, but I have a ton of episodes releasing this year, revamp some things, so super excited to get started with that. But let's go ahead and kind of transition to some of the questions that I asked people prior. And I was like, hey, what are some things you guys are looking forward to? What are some things that you guys, some questions you want me to kind of answer when it comes to the making of Empower? And people want to really know the beginning of all of this. When did all this stuff start? So I think that's a pretty good question. And I want to kind of go back to the original. And I think one of the first few text messages I got about all of this back, I remember saying like, hey, it'd be cool if we can just, if we could start something new for us. And I remember texting someone and say, hey, I have an idea about an EM pharmacotherapy conference that I want you to be part of. Are you interested in helping plan it and presenting it? I'm thinking of it happening in August or September. cool part was that never actually happened in August and September. It ended up happening in March of 2022. And that was the genesis of all of this. And I think it was pretty cool because of the fact that we was able to take something that was just an idea in a text message and really kind of take that to the next level and not just focus solely on all the logistics, all the different things that could happen. So I was super excited to be able to get that started and to be able to kind of take things to the next level and not wait for all this stuff to happen. And I think when it comes to, my role, he asked like, what's my role? How do you even start a conference? And that was something that was unique. And I think when going back to it, some of the things that you have to look at, and for me, the things I had to look at was, why am I even doing this? And as I got through PGY 1 and PGY 2, one of the things that I was really looking forward to is like going to a big conference and being able to present and being able to have that interaction with different people. And I noticed that EM didn't necessarily have that to the level that I thought was going to be appropriate, because we could go to, the general meetings and have a few sessions. And I thought that was something that was unique, but anyone who's worked in EM or anyone who's ever been in that space knows how different emergency medicine is. And I think the thing that people have to really realize is like the heart of emergency medicine. And that's the unique component of all of this, is knowing that a lot of this can be very different in a sense. And I want to create a home for us. And I wanted to have something that was for us and by us. And I think if you guys look at a lot of the stuff that I've put out there on the conference, is really making something that's for us and by us, to be from the very top to the bottom. Like for the person who's creating all of this, that's running all of the finance, all of the background from every color, every person presenting. I wanted that to be a pharmacist. And the cool part now is that we are able to look at this a couple years forward and see how important it was to have that information as the genesis of Empower. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I wanted to be different. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm kind of a different kind of person, but most people who work in EM really is. And we're not the clean cut, wearing a tie every day. There's a few people up there. Ryan Barnes is one of my old attendings that wear a suit and a tie, but it's not many of us that's going to be there. And I wanted to make sure I'm like highlighting an aspect that empowers all EM pharmacists and really everyone who appreciates EM pharmacotherapy. And that's where we kind of make this change and making sure that we're empowering all of the people who are utilizing medications in emergency medicine. So I thought that was the first set of all of this. And as I go through kind of the background, the first year being the inaugural year with it being virtual, it was very special because we had 5-6 people in our committee, and we did everything completely virtual. We wanted to focus on how can we provide a ton of value. And I think that was something that was unique, because we didn't have to spend $600-$700 or $1,000, to be honest, to go to a great conference over a couple of days. We was able to do that within our first year. And shout out to my original committee who got this started, because I knew nothing. And I remember being in a meeting and telling them, guys, I'm the youngest person on this call. I have the least amount of experience. I have not been involved in many other organizations, but I think there's something out there that I could do, that we can do, honestly, that can be very impactful. And it really hit home to a lot of people. And we made it to where the price point was great. We made it to where it was affordable for everyone. We made students free. We made it to where everyone can get involved. And it was great to have, over 700 people be involved in that first year, completely virtual, and to be able to see some of the things that we was able to see, people from all over, I think 11 countries. It was amazing. It was amazing. And just seeing a lot of the components of things that really made this thing go off. I remember going to Tampa and having like a hotspot where people can come and watch if they wanted to, and it being there, and a few other people have that. They had it in California, they had it in Pennsylvania. It was just really unique to be able to be part of all of that and see how all of EM kind of came together during that time. And I think having Frank involved, having all those people involved was phenomenal. And it really just showed us our community, and that really built the culture behind it. And the cool part was like all the social media posts, all the things that kind of went into all of this. And seeing people from all over just really engage and say, hey, I'm an EM pharmacist. This is what it's all about to me. So I think that was the cool part. The chat was just crazy that year. And it really led to us being able to, think about doing something different, doing something that's more unique. And that would lead to us kind of transitioning to 2023, our second year, which was our first in-person conference. And the next part was that it was our first time partnering with SAEM, the Society of Academic Emergency Medicine, and having our physician kind of be part of that as well, and really kind of taking it to the next step of being a pharmacotherapy conference. So where it's going to be built for us and by us, but everyone else is going to be welcomed. And that was the cool part about all of this, to be able to allow everyone to engage and allow everyone to be part of that. And the partnership was great, and it was really good. And it got to the point to where, we're interacting with all these people, and it was unique to even have that initial conversation, because we had went back and forth prior years, a pharmacist trying to kind of get into that space. And we was able to get lucky. John Paca knew one of the committee members that was part of the SAEM executive board, got us to have a meeting with the CEO and allow us to kind of show the value. Because again, I think a lot of times we want to focus on providing that value and having a space for us. And it was cool. Megan was great. The whole team there was great, and they being able to allow us to kind of come in and basically rent space from them, rent that atmosphere, and being able to have our one-day conference there. And it was cool. It helped us be able to see a lot of the things that go into making a conference of that level. There was some great things that went along with that. Again, being able to be in person, being able to, do all those things was great. And it was some other things that made it a little bit more challenging. Again, dealing with all the red tape, dealing with it not necessarily being your conference. And one thing that really kind of sat with me after the conference, reading some of the people who attended, their thoughts and their concerns, is that, again, it felt a little bit too much professional. It felt like we kind of deviated from the core of us. And it deviated from what we had built up when it comes to the culture of EMPower. So I think that was something that was a consideration when it came to the moment where SAM said, hey, either your group kind of come with us, or, we're going to kind of do our own thing. You guys showed the immense value. You guys did all these things. And it was, for me, the conversation of, okay, Jim, you got 2 weeks to decide to shut down EMPower, and having the ability to give people exactly what they want and allow it to be for us and by us, or transition that to someone else and let them kind of take over that aspect. And that was the reason why, again, the committee kind of split. Half of the people went to SAEM and kind of formed their own thing. And that was really an interesting point, to be honest with you guys. That was unique in a sense, because it was kind of a eye-opening experience to what this is really like and what happens when you activate in these spaces. But it also allowed me to realize how big EM pharmacy has taken off, going from 4 residencies in 2023, 2024, 2003 to being where we are now with hundreds of residencies, hundreds of residents. And for us to be that big item that another organization wants to expand on. So I thought that was a unique component of partnering with SAM, them seeing the value. But it was also something that was challenging for me, because, again, when you go be part of those large organizations, there's certain things that come along with that. And for me, when we did this in 2022, the big talk was about us kind of forming our own organizations and having something that was just, again, for us and by us and unique for us. And I thought that EMPower is a place for us to be able to come and kind of voice those concerns and voice the components of things that will lead to the foundation of Society of Emergency Medicine Pharmacists. SEMP. And as we're building that and going from there, I wanted it to be something that, again, that was kind of built up from pharmacists, knowing that we have to work with other people, knowing that we have to get these different management groups and things of that nature. It was unique. It was unique. So the separation from SAM was something I didn't necessarily think was going to happen so abruptly when it came to either, join us, start this interest group, kind of get all your people to come over here and kind of shut down the thing that you've been doing. And based off the feedback that I got from people, I called probably 50 pharmacists and asking them kind of from me personally what I should do and the things that we were building, what we should do. And, the overwhelming answer was kind of, it would be great to have two avenues to express EM pharmacy, an academic version of it and a kind of a clinical, just practice management component of it. And I thought that was something that was unique. And speaking to people that's been at EM for 30 plus years, speaking to people who's been at it and realizing what this new generation of EM pharmacy is going to look like, kind of led me to wanted to say, hey, I'm going to stay over here, continue doing Empower, continue working with the people that I'm working with, and continue to do things that's going to be for us and by us. So I think that was something that was a unique aspect, I'll be honest with you guys. And I'm really happy that it happened the time that it did. Because a few things I learned through this process was, one, being able to kind of see the bigger picture, like seeing all aspects of a conference, the exhibitors, seeing the engagement from the participants, making sure the speakers, the continue education, working with different individuals. All of those things were, spread amongst like 6 or 7 people last year. With this new committee this year, with 20 plus people, it really kind of helped align things better and really allowed for this conference to be truly an expression of EM pharmacists all throughout. We have pharmacists that's in California, Utah. We got pharmacists that are at work EM, that is in industry. We have some physicians on our committee. We have pediatric ED pharmacists as well, something that we didn't really get to do as much as I would like to before, but it made it super interesting that this kind of abrupt kind of leave and us being a completely independent allowed us to be able to explore all the things that we really wanted to do. I'm talking, again, the simulations, that something we always want to do, the more hands-on, kind of combining with providers, having our residents being a lot more immersed in the conference. That was really a cool part. So I think the transition to this year and the things we have to look forward to for this year is that this is something that is completely taken from our participants in prior years, and we've built it out. So the surveys that we sent out to people who don't necessarily want to do, every single talk that we're doing and almost every speaker that we have come into this year's conference is based off the feedback from all of our participants. And then we took that information and the amazing committees that we have with Judah Brown leading the programming and Louisa kind of being like my right-hand woman over the conference, Chantrell Johnson, John Patka, Rob O'Connell, from all the stuff you guys are seeing, Josh Sen and his group with Continue Education. We have like 5 or 6 committees that has 5 plus people in them. And the cool part is you get to see their expression of EM pharmacy in this conference. So we're not just going to be speaking about all academic things at the conference. Some of them are the social issues that go on, the burnout, the wellness. Again, EM pharmacists are not making it. There are pharmacists who are been practicing for 5-10 years and say, I just can't do this anymore. So what we're doing now is kind of having those avenues to have those conversations and allowing for everyone to be part of it. The coolest part is that, again, our residents, instead of them having a session that's completely separate from everyone else, we're immersing our resident research presentations, the stuff that they've been working on consistently and hard. We're immersing that right into the middle of the conference. So there's no, break and then get to them. They're going to be doing their things, having the same platform presentations as everyone else. We're going to have about 12 to 15 of them doing it. So again, we get to see an expression of the research, expression of the practices, of the roundtable discussions. And the cool part is this, is that all of those things are going to be in a 2-day conference. So I think that's going to be unique as well. So very excited about the evolution of Empower, because it went from something that's being a virtual conference that people went to something where people are traveling from all over the world to come in person with us. And January, I just want to thank everyone who's kind of been involved in all this. January was a phenomenal month as far as getting people registered to come to the conference. Hundreds of people, again, registered to come just in 1 month. So I'm thankful for the guys that's been out there for that. Again, we're going to probably end up selling out by the end of probably this month, to be honest, for virtual and for in person. So for anyone who's watching who's been kind of on the fence, definitely want to get your tickets and things of that nature now. But for those who are watching and kind of want to see a lot of the what's happening for this year, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of show you guys the agenda on the website, so you guys can get a sneak peek of what it's gonna look like at the conference. And I'm super excited for all the speakers that's gonna be there, because it's gonna be pretty dope. So let me see here. This up for you guys. So if you go to EMPoweRx.com, you get to see a lot of the information that's on there about the timing and things of that nature. But we got the agenda up now, and that's going to be pretty cool. So we have, of course, we have my product theaters. We have a huge breakfast. Keynote is going to be pretty cool. Having Rachel and Tony part of that, and really getting the background of kind of getting off this beaten path and finding a rewarding career in EM. Everyone's talking about burnout and everyone's talking about all those things, but we want to kind of start things off and kick things off with pharmacists, EM pharmacists, talking about how to find a rewarding career. And you don't necessarily have to have 1,000 letters behind your name to have a rewarding career in EM pharmacy. So I think that was a pretty cool thing that we want to do. And of course, we have some talks things. Frank's kind of been behind the scenes kind of building some of these things. So it's been great to see the talk world be involved within that. Some updates in ID. We got Dr. Quinn Cummins coming. He's hilarious. If you guys haven't met him before, get some C. diff, SSTIs, COVID, just kind of giving you some quick hits with all of that. Then we're going to go into some consensus statements and guidelines that I hate. Everyone knows BG, Brian Gilbert, and Aaron. I think that's going to be a pretty cool one there. I think it's going to be something that can be really unique, because we're going to go away from everything we love and these traditional things. We're really going to be focusing on all the things that I'm like, hey, if we can just do this slightly different, what would be a better way to get this done? So I think that's going to be another really cool presentation that we're excited about. So definitely have to check that out. Then we have a few things that's going to be different this year. We have some, like, another roundtable like discussion. We've got culture callbacks. We got pathways to med administration. We have some EM administration. We've got a trauma sim, ped metabolic emergencies, more of those out-of-pocket cases. People really love that. And resident research blocks all throughout. So super excited for that. But that's really most of what I wanted to kind of chat with you guys with today. I know this is probably a short recording for me, but I think it's something that was going to be unique. And I think you guys kind of background. What happens now is that this recording kind of get chopped up and edited and kind of sent back, and then we'll add some cool things on there. But if you guys like this, please let me know, and you can DM me, or if you have a different topics, things of that nature. But I close out every episode the same exact way, guys. You don't have to be a pharmacist. You don't work in the ED. Everything you do, make sure you farm so hard.